And so, if you look at it from my side, if I'm not being aware
Correct.
and remembering what you've been going through, then it'd be easy to be like, well, what's the big deal about you missing a workout? But
Right.
really it is a big deal. Like,
Right. And I think a lot of times then when the stress level builds up, you could sit there and be like, okay, but it built up because I never really did get my time. Hello, everyone. We are Greg and Jacquie Francis, and welcome to High Performance Parenting, where our passionate goal is to encourage you to raise champion children in a crazy world. Every week, we will bring you multiple episodes from our extensive experience of raising our six happy, healthy, successful, godly kids who are confidently equipped to win big in life.
We deeply believe that any parent who is provided with the right knowledge and continual support can raise amazing kids. And when they do, all of our futures get better. If raising up future generations of absolute champions matters to you as much as it does to us, here's how you can contribute. Like and share this podcast with everyone you know. And together, let's embrace this journey of raising champion kids in a crazy world.
okay, we're back. We're on part 3 of how to handle and minimize mom guilt. Great stuff we've been talking about here. One of the things we left on the last episode was how, learning how to realize that there are multiple roles that a mom and dad need to play, and what are the most important ones that you can't hand off the responsibility of, right? And that's things like encouragement and loving and discipline and just equipping, things like that, okay? But what are the things you can hand off, in order to be able to free up some time and give you a little bit more peace and et cetera. And some of those things that we started mentioning were things like you can get a house cleaner, that way you don't ever have to feel guilty if you can't clean the house too. I do think it's healthy guilt if you're not encouraging and equipping your kids, right? That's a healthy guilt because it's a role you need to step into.
Right.
But if you're doing that part and you're doing the best you can, and then you aren't able to clean the house and you have to have somebody else come in, I think it's really kind of crazy to even allow yourself to feel guilty about, that. Another one is we mentioned was like tutoring. We homeschool, and one of the first fears that we had at homeschooling was like, how in the heck are we going to handle this? You really felt it like, I don't know how to do this. Like, I don't want really to do this poorly. And so we outsourced it. We said, let's hire people, let's be the principals instead of the teachers. Right. So we still have the responsibility of guiding what they're going to learn.
Well, and what's neat about it, and I should bring the kids in to interview them next, because I was just thinking about this, the different seasons where we've had people, whether it's been tutors as they've gotten older, or we had, nannies during the day when they were younger. If you interviewed our kids today, they would tell you they absolutely loved the people we hired to come help. Like, some of the nannies had the most fun with them doing dress up or doing their hair or doing makeup or doing nails or doing and I could do that too. Do you know what I mean? But some of that stuff was really neat when like a creative, cute young person that didn't have kids of their own would come in and do some fun things with our kids that maybe I didn't even think about.
Yeah.
Because I'm taking on the responsibility of training them up in other areas,
Yeah.
Or even like our tutors for school. We've been so blessed with the most amazing tutors that have been so creative with them on some of their different subjects. I wouldn't have even thought to go there because I'm in the process of doing other things to build my kids' future.
Yeah.
I'm committed to other areas for them and thriving in that area with them. I wouldn't have even had the chance. And if you ask them today, they would tell you they absolutely have loved having those people in their lives, pouring into them and loving them.
Hey, by the way, I want to just say this real quick commercial, because it's in the front of my brain. No, it's not a joke.
Okay.
If anybody that's listening to this has any desire to homeschool your kids, but you're overwhelmed and you're nervous because you don't know what the programs are or even how to put together a program, we have the people for you. Okay. Yeah. We have friends that this is what they do for a living. They know every program that's out there. They know how to evaluate your kid and their learning style. They know how to actually give you suggestions on what will probably be the most effective.
Right.
They even could possibly do some tutoring. We have some other people that are phenomenal tutors, and I don't know if they're too busy right now, but if y'all are looking for something like that, because I could see somebody asking this question, just email us. You can email me at greg@teamredwoods.com, and I can get you in touch with the right people. We're not doing an affiliate thing here necessarily. We just have had some great people in our life, and I know there's probably somebody out there who's hearing this like, man, I wish I could find somebody like they have. It took us a while, but we do have some amazing people.
Oh yeah.
So
I mean, the kids right now are in there doing the most amazing writing
right.
projects with one of our most favorite tutors.
Yeah.
And her program is fabulous for
So,
English.
so just to be clear about this tutoring thing, I think some people really actually like homeschooling their kids.
Oh, yes.
And if you do, you do. That's great. See, in other words, it's not really a burden on you then.
No.
For us, it would be a big burden because it's just not our wheelhouse. And what we've learned enough that we don't want to operate in a level of incompetence or even just basic competence.
Right.
We want to operate in our level of excellence. Where we actually really thrive. We thrive more being the supervisors, the
Yes.
principals,
Yes.
the guiding the direction, making sure the kids are getting the right stuff into them. But we don't thrive at doing the
No.
detail teaching and stuff like that. Honestly, it's just patience level. We have too many other things going on. So we have eliminated having any guilt about it because we have, put this in our minds of what our role is.
Right.
Right.
And I think, too, one of the things that is really interesting, again, about mom guilt is how you package it. If you package it well, like, again, we all have things in our lives, right, that we are going to do. We're going to do well, and we're going to need to improve on. And some things are like a daily improvement, and some of those are being the best parent you can be.
Yeah.
Being the best wife or husband that you can be.
Yeah.
Being, the best friend you can be. Like, that's just ongoing stuff. Like, you're never going to be perfect at it. And anybody that's acting like they are is lying. You know what I mean? Like, I would laugh so hard sometimes because I would see things on Instagram, and then it's like, you're watching that, and that is like 30 seconds of their life. You know what I mean? And then you turn around, and here's a kid over here spitting up because they just had
100%.
Too much milk.
For sure.
Or I would laugh because, even myself, I would go to a meeting at night and speak on stage or do whatever, and here I'm dressed and I'm ready. It took me like 4 hours to get there because literally I had to stop doing baby stuff all day, changing diapers, doing this. And it's like, you see the end result. But earlier that day, I had like baby food all over and in my hair. You know what I mean? Or like I had a child that wouldn't stop crying for the night and I'm tired. You know what I mean? So it's like everything you see is a perception majority of the time.
Yeah.
So even the most put together people
Yeah.
are dealing with their stuff is my point. And I think it's important for us to realize that, and I remember this one time I was running the kids around and I'm in between meetings and I'm trying to get them to sports and I'm trying to do everything. And typically I'm dropping somebody else off and then going to get somebody else and coming back for a call and then getting on a Zoom for this. And then I'm, you know what I mean? And I hadn't had a chance to work out yet. And so I still looked like I was trying to get to the gym, like, right? And I pulled up and here's like a group of moms that are all like put together and stuff like that. And I just kind of smile, you know what I mean? Because I'm just like, I'm really happy for them, by the way. If they had time to do all that for the day, I'm cool. And it just said, okay, well, I'm going to sit in the car, girls. You can jump out now. I didn't have a chance to kind of get ready today. I'm going to go home and work out, And Bella says to me, all sweet, with all honesty, she's like, Mom, I love you just the way you are, by the way. And I go, I know, I kind of wish I had, put myself together a little bit to get out. And, she's like, Mom, every time I see those moms, I think to myself, they're not doing half the stuff you do every day. Mm-hmm. You care more about making sure we get where we need to go versus taking the time to get dressed for yourself all day and spend that time all day. Thanks for being willing to be on time for us and doing what we want versus what you want sometimes.
So good.
And I just thought to myself, I'm like, I really appreciate you, Bella, for saying that because it's true. I mean, as a mom, how many times do you like not do something for yourself? I remember this one time we were doing a family photo and I got everybody ready and I'm not ready at all. Like I have no makeup, no nothing, but it was time for the photo. And here I still look at those family photos. They're not hung up. They're not anywhere. You know what I mean? Because I'm literally sitting there with no makeup and everyone else is cute. Like everybody else is cute. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, I ran out of time. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, you can just sit there and beat yourself up.
Yeah.
Or you can just sit there and be like, you're doing the best you can in this situation.
That's right. Yeah.
And everyone has those situations.
Well, let me rattle off a couple bullet points I can think of.
Sure.
That we've implemented over time that I think people could implement. And I want to back up a second because I can sense people listening could have the question, okay, you're talking about having a house cleaner, you're talking about a tutor, you're talking about, these people that you can hire, but what if you can't afford it?
Sure.
Right? Well, I would say that my solution to that is this is a place that I got to come in and perform. You know, like I'm like, so how can I help you? I can't be the mom. I can't even step in as the mom ever. You know, it doesn't work. Like they want mom, you know, but I can help by, you know, getting off my butt a little bit and finding ways to create extra sources of income outside of whatever I'm currently doing, or create increase in what I'm currently doing with the goal of providing you, here's the house cleaner budget, you know,
Right.
here is the tutor. What's this going to cost? You know, and so I can, you know, take my natural identity of a provider and say, okay, well, these are things that I can't just keep telling you, no, we can't afford it, so you deal it. It's like I just take it upon me, like, okay, this is part of my role. Let me go help find a way to create these kind of resources. And when we create these resources, don't spend them on an extra day at golf. Spend them on doing something like the maid, you know what I mean, or whatever. And so I kind of like that, actually. It puts a little pressure on me, but it's a really good thing, you know. And so I would just encourage people out there, you know, that you need to get yourself some kind of a side hustle performing for your family. And it makes you, nothing really makes me feel more like a man, to be honest with you, when I see some of these things being implemented in our house and knowing that I was able to help by providing the means to do it. Okay. Now, other things that I know that you have done, and I'll bullet point these out, and then you can
Sure.
you know, you can expand on them. But one is you having your morning time to actually get your day started that's quiet, and setting a boundary with the kids. You know, this works better for us now. The kids are a little older. If you have a baby, it's a little different. You just have to have them with scheduling, right? With naps and everything else, and you have to manage it that way. But like having a boundary that you can't come into mom's office until a certain time.
Right.
And then me as probably the I would say the strongest disciplinary voice, not because you don't discipline, but just because it's just, you know, we were just joking about that with one of our coaching clients that, you know, you say something at night, kids go to sleep and they might still giggle a little bit. When dad says it, then they just fall asleep, right? And that's okay. It's part of my role. But me actually setting the stage with you and saying, kids, like, this is important. So until this time, until 8 a.m. or whatever it is, if you need something, you need to call me. You need to come to me. I get it. I'm not mom, but you can, or you can just wait until 8 o'clock. Either one.
We had a good conversation with the kids about that actually at one point. Like, is this an emergency? If it is, please contact. You know what I mean? But if not, like even the gym situation we spoke about a couple episodes ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, okay, so I understand you think asking mom about math when she's right, is it an emergency?
Right.
I mean, because if not, can it wait till she gets home in an hour?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I remember this one time, talking about stories. I remember being literally in the shower trying to take a breather for a minute, and a kid is coming up to the glass with their math and asking, Mom, I don't understand number 2.
Shouting it through.
And I'm like, what? I'm like in the shower, and they're pressing their math up against the darn glass. And my only response is, where's your dad? Where's your dad? Like,
all right. So number 2,
the stories.
another thing is actually you getting time to work out at a pace that you like, whether that's 3 times a week, whether it's every day for 30 minutes.
Right.
You know, I mean, this is part of me actually helping this happen too. So that means, you know, you actually like to get on a treadmill, but I needed to get you a Peloton. Why? Because actually it's a lot better experience for you, you know, to be on something that actually has the programs and you can go follow along with something. Like, it's better than just having like a cheap one. You don't get into it as much. It's not as replenishing as you. Stop kicking the camera, please. Gosh. Okay.
Or a membership that's easy for me to, I remember many times I actually wanted to get out of the house.
Yeah,
like
when we still lived in
work
Wisconsin, that was part of it. You wanted to go because it was a nice gym not too far away.
That's right. I wanted to get out of the house.
Then nobody really can interrupt you and tug on your shirt, you know.
Or just like have that time to get in the car, listen to what I want to listen to with nobody talking to me, asking questions. The whole experience is so important.
But one of the biggest keys is like, okay, let's not just talk about it. Let's implement it.
Right.
How do we do this? And then how do you stick to it? And meaning that even when you are like in the middle of, well, I got all this stuff to do and mom guilt's cranking and you're like, maybe I'll give up on my workout time because I just need to do it. It's like, no. You can't, because then you're going to come home later and you're still going to be so bogged up. You didn't get any replenishment time. Like you have to actually discipline yourself to say, I'm going to walk out no matter what stuff's going on.
When I think it's
in
a
the
real
house.
help from, dads or whatever during this stuff is, yes, of course, things need to get done. And if there is calls or meetings or something like that, but if you know how important it is for me to take a break so that the rest of the day is better for everybody involved, like not to like belittle that, not to be like, hey, you know what? Actually, honey, instead of you working out today, I got this great opportunity to go do this instead. Do you mind switching that to like a different day?
Right.
Because like when you only have so much time, you actually look forward to that. Like, no, actually, and then if I say to you, do you have to? Like, I really want to go. Honey, like, what? What's the big deal? It's like now I'm trying to like defend. The big deal is that I don't feel seen right now. Like the big deal is are you more important than me? Like,
Yeah.
And so it's important to discuss that and not to belittle the time.
With a viewpoint of not understanding all that's going on with a mom, which a lot of
Correct.
times can happen with a dad because we're so full. I know me, I'm so into my work stuff all day. This is
Right.
what I do. I don't handle the details like you do. So I don't get that build up.
Right.
A lot of times by the time that I'm spending time with the kids, I'm kind of like, ready to have fun with them.
And them too. There's
Yeah.
like for
But
both sides.
you've been handling all the
The
work
nitty gritty stuff,
right?
or the conversations, or the discipline,
and the school stuff
or
and everything else.
Yeah,
And so, if you look at it from my side, if I'm not being aware
correct.
and remembering what you've been going through, then it'd be easy to be like, well, what's the big deal about you missing a workout? But
Right.
really it is a big deal. Like,
Right, and I think a lot of times, then when the stress level builds up, you could sit there and be like, okay, but it built up because I never really did get my time,
right.
and I
Okay.
wasn't seen.
I got a few more bullet points for the next episode.
Oh my gosh.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening and thanks for your love and support. We hope that today's episode added tremendous value to you and your family. It would mean so much to us if you would partner with us on our mission of helping parents around the globe raise champion children in this crazy world.
To do so, simply take a moment to like and share this podcast with everyone in your network. See you next time.